I'm literally so excited because I am in Boston in my Airbnb, okay? I just finished a crazy week of, events. I'm not even finished. I'm just about to leave Boston. So it is actually Thursday morning. I'm getting ready to head to New York. I just wrapped up my collaboration over competition event in Boston last night, and that literally, when I say blew my mind, like blew my mind. This was actually my first time in Boston, and I was here for the content marketing conference in Boston, and I spoke about Instagram hacks and how to essentially use Instagram to build your brand. And then that night, I hosted an event in partnership with Industrious Boston, which is a co-working space here. And we brought in so many women, over 70 women in a city that I've never been to, signed up for an event that I had about collaborating with other women. Just all of the panelists were literally phenomenal. We had Kristen L. Pope, who is a TV expert, Nicole Roberts-Jones, who also is a CEO, and she owns this business called the Fierce Factor Lab. And then we have Rika Elise of this really great tech startup called Beauty Link. So it was just really awesome to be amongst such phenomenal women. And even at the end, all of the women in the room were able to walk around and say where they were from and like what they aspire to do and what they're currently doing. And that was just another powerful moment because there's so many amazing women in the audience that oftentimes we end up focusing so much on the panelists, and we don't realize that the people in the room have so much value to add to our lives. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for how far God has brought me. I also, during this entire weekend, decided that I want to get back on video, and really making sure that I'm vlogging more consistently. So this is the point at which I decided that, I'm going to stop waiting for the perfect moment, and I'm going to share my journey throughout. And I have a ton of videos of me crying and being upset throughout the journey of entrepreneurship, but I plan to be extremely raw, very transparent with you guys about what it looks like to be an entrepreneur and, just going out there with your dreams when it comes to God and his purpose for your life and, when it comes to the finance aspect. So I'm so excited, so stoked. I'm headed to New York City. I'm going to be taking a mega bus. So that's the economical way to get to New York and from Boston. So I'm literally so excited and can't wait to share the journey. So I'm in New York. This is my best friend, Ebony, and this is where she lives. Okay, first of all, I'm taken aback. Anything of value to give to the people?
Keep listening to Candace.
All right, there we go. Pretty much just exploring New York City. There's the Brooklyn Bridge back there, the city behind me. So I'm really excited because I am doing my first event in New York City. It's called Collaboration Over Competition. And honestly, I don't know if you guys can see through here, but over there, people are gathering, and it's going to be an amazing event all about helping women collaborate, connect with each other, and literally build their businesses with God in the process. Every step of the way. So I'm really excited and can't wait to see how tonight goes. Look at all that Industrious has set up for us. Love it. It's gonna be fun. Collaboration over competition, Brooklyn style.
We may think we're doing something that is of use to that other person, but without being vulnerable enough to have that conversation to say, hey, I don't really need that, but what I do need is this. I feel like that's the true essence of sisterhood, of being transparent, having those open conversations, but not just supporting people and seeing how can I get something from them in exchange for this support, and more so saying how does this woman really need me to be here for her, whether it be emotionally, in her business, whatever. That's what I feel like sisterhood is. Yeah, that was part of my answer.
Y'all, so last night was so phenomenal. I hosted my collaboration over competition event in New York City, and it was literally the most amazing experience ever. And I know I host this all the time and like events all the time, but it's always refreshing to have fresh perspectives from unique people who are transparent. And like my life was so changed last night, and it's crazy because it's like I don't tell these people what to say, but like God moves through them, and it just blows my mind. And look at this beautiful, like, I'm just in awe. It's a beautiful day in New York City. Like, what? I'm soaking up in all this amazingness, and like whatever dreams you have, whatever ambitions that you have, go after it. There are so many people waiting for you to do what God has called you to do. Stop cowering in fear. Stop acting as if you're not good enough. Stop acting as if you don't have what you need to succeed. God will give it to you. In terms of resources, in terms of the relationships that you need to get you to the next level, but you have to make a move and step out on faith to do what he told you to do. Like, my bank account doesn't look like where I'm supposed to be one day, but guess what? The impact that I'm having right now is so full, like, makes me feel so full. And at the end of the day, God gives me the resources to make this stuff happen. So I can't make this stuff up. Like, I literally cannot make this stuff up. You have to go after your dreams and do what God has called you to do. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Just stop waiting for somebody to tell you, yes, it's time. Stop waiting for someone to confirm what God already told you to do. Do what he told you to do. The provision will come. Everything that you need will come. And you ain't got nothing to worry about. The journey may be a little tough. It will be tough. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be so worth it. It's going to be so worth it. When you change people's lives, and thinking about the fact that when you get to heaven and God will say, well done, my good and faithful servant, spend your time serving. Spend your time figuring out, how can I best serve with what I have, even if it's just a little bit. Do what you can with what you have, and I promise it will take you to places you would have never thought you could go. So I don't know who this is for, but I feel like I'm speaking to somebody, because surely I needed to hear this back when I was afraid to go after my dreams. So I love y'all, and I'm always praying for the people that I'm connected to, whether it be online or in person. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'm so excited to be sharing the journey with y'all. So every time I think I don't know how my bills are gonna get paid as an entrepreneur, God always comes through, right? So basically, I have a mortgage and a car note that needs to be paid on time. And I had a couple of clients that I had lined up that basically just weren't paying me, and they were like, oh, let's postpone what we're doing, which is totally fine. But sometimes, like I would say in the past, I would have gotten freaked out. Like, how am I gonna pay these bills? I have no idea how this is gonna come through. But literally, I was just like, I'm just gonna be patient. I know that God will come through. And literally, I got on the phone with a client today and literally just closed a client for what's more than my mortgage in a single moment, okay? So what's crazy is, like, literally, she just paid me 4 figures. She paid me in full. So for the ones who think that it's not possible for people to pay you what you're worth, charge more. Stop doubting yourself and your abilities. There are people that are ready to pay you, that are so ready. And I have been really leaving so much money on the table in the past, because the same thing that I'm doing for this client that is paying 4 figures, I used to be paying, like, I literally would charge people like $500 for it, and would put in so much work, and would be like, oh my God, I just got a $500 client, but then I gotta do 4 of those to make up for, you know, the money and the bills that I needed to have paid. So I'm just grateful, because today I literally just closed this client, and I got this money, and it's about to cover what I needed to cover, and it's covering the expenses that I didn't know I wasn't gonna have covered because other clients dropped out. So just have faith and don't get caught up in the money and it not being there up front, especially when clients be dropping out. That's normal. Like, it's totally normal. And So that's another reason why I am always making sure that I offer payment plans as well, just so that I can upcharge people. And I say that because if you start with one session and don't finish with the final sessions, at least I charge you more than what you would have paid if you paid it all in full. So at least I'm not missing out because you decided to drop out. So that's just another business tip about building, and I'm just grateful because it happened in the moment and I wanted to share it right here. So I'm in New York City and I have had the most terrible time trying to get around, at least trying to get back to the airport. I definitely I got on the train in the wrong direction, and then after getting on the train in the wrong direction, I get to the airport via bus and I missed the station that drops you off at the right terminal at the airport. So here I am waiting like the tourist that has been here too many times and should know better. But now I'm waiting on this bus so that I can get to where I'm headed. It's been a long week and a half. Traveling is life right now. Can't wait to get home and sleep in my own bed, grab a glass of wine, and call it quits. So I finally made it back to Chicago from traveling pretty much all week long in Boston and New York. I've had some pretty amazing experiences throughout, but it's been a busy week. Like, my life is just crazy. Tomorrow I am speaking at the initiation luncheon for some young, beautiful women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, okay? And I'm really excited because I'm just thinking about the progress that I have personally made in my life since I became an AKA. I crossed in fall of 2012, Beta Delta, yes, St. Louis citywide chapter. And I'm just thinking about how, like, this is 7 years later, like, my life is completely different than what I would have ever expected it to be. And I'm just really grateful. So I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm sitting here reflecting, trying to figure out what I'm actually going to talk about. Just because, I never know what I'm going to talk about until the last minute. I literally never know. Because if I think about it too much, then I'll come up with something that doesn't make sense. And then I spend a little bit more time. Like, it always comes to me like the day before. So today is the day before. And we're in Chicago and it's supposed to snow. So I'm just like, look, I need springtime to come my way and give me some inspiration and not this snow that's about to hit the ground. So I am just getting excited and ready for this event. Like I said, my events last week in Boston and New York were literally so amazing. I'm forever grateful for the experience. And it's crazy to see how, like, my life has been impacted so much by women that are members of Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And I literally said the other day, like, my life is so staffed by people by women who support me. But there are so many AKAs that support me and what I'm doing. Shout out Morgan Owens. Shout out Nicole Roberts-Jones. Shout out Aaliyah Gaston, who is my the first person I hired as a virtual assistant. Shout out Danielle Avant, who is also an AKA, who is my event planner for Go Getter Conference. All of these women are AKAs. So I'm just reflecting on the impact of, like, AKA on my life and just being a part of communities that really support and celebrate sisterhood. And I cannot wait to, like, give more deets on what I end up talking about. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to talk about the importance of sisterhood and impact. We can't really impact the world without each other. So I'm just grateful for that. And like I said, like, I've been traveling so much. I'm in the process of getting ready to try to book my flight to Amsterdam for this conference I'm speaking at in June. And it is this financial technology conference, but it's focused on diversity in financial technology. Yes, I live in the city of Chicago. So that's a siren that you hear. But yeah, I'm basically going to just do a trip to London and the weekend before. So I'm going to go to London, and then I'm going to go to Amsterdam. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for my flight, because they didn't pay for it, but they're paying for my hotel. And one other thing, just like thinking about like the power of like asking people for what you want. You have not because you ask not. And basically I reached out to the people who are having this conference after, they booked me for it. And I'm like, honestly, like, I look for other speaking gigs in the area to, make sure that I'm making the most of my time. Do you know of any other speaking engagements that I may be able to get paid from? And they gave me recommendations, but they also were like, you know what? We're going to meet you halfway. We're going to give you $400 towards your flight. We're going to give you this. And they're paying for my whole hotel, which they weren't doing at first. So I'm just grateful for that. So let that be the lesson of the week, to, that you have not because you ask not. But I'm grateful for this week, and just for, so many things like coming into full alignment. And, I'm literally just grateful. So